Hi there, welcome to the Mountain of God. My name is Camille. Today is 27th of April 2021. Welcome to video number 7. Today we're going to continue, and today we're going to ask ourselves a very tough question. We're going to look at what does maturity in the spirit means, and if we are really adults. You see, the moment you are taken out of teenage years and you've been moving toward maturity, there are few things that will work on and few things that will change. And for those of you who are on that level, you understand what I mean by that. And for those of you who are just dragged into that, I want you to know what can you expect and why it's going to be a completely different game than the previous periods. And for those of you who are long in the church in general, I want you to ask yourself if you're really an adult, because the things that many so-called Christians say it's adulthood, it might not be. And I don't want you to deceive yourself or be deceived by someone else. I want you to really be aware what does adulthood really means, what does it really consist of, and if you're really ready to be there. So the first thing that we need to talk about the first thing that I see that might work on someone who is just becoming mature, or it's at the beginning of this thing, is working on who you are as a person. Because you see, the first thing that you need to kind of know or be sure of yourself is that you're a high quality human being. And there's a very specific reason for it. Because if you're not high quality human being, and you're going to take this immaturity into calling, which is the end goal to the much degree, you're going to fail. You're not going to fail only personally. You're going to fail in your calling. You're going to hurt a lot of people instead of bringing them to salvation or maturity, and at the end their own calling. So that's why I want you to understand that the first thing that might try to bring you to kind of raise your bar or bring you to the position that you'll be this kind of person is to work on who you are as a person, meaning your mindset. Are you somebody who basically thinks that everything is fine with me, everything is awesome, you just see yourself in the bright colors, but at the end of the day you know that you're overselling yourself, and there's tons of things that you're just not really good at? Or maybe you're underselling yourself, and every once in a while you have to be brought up, and someone who has to pat you on the back, and you're having this kind of tendency to go into depression. It's not being mature if you do that as well. And then we can talk about, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, taking care of, feeding yourself well, sleeping enough, having will of power to achieve goals. Because how do you think you deliver and being good at your calling if you never really achieved anything? If you're this, huge and obese person who barely breathes, and you basically doing nothing. You watch Netflix all the time. You're just this blob which basically just tries to enjoy life and has no passions whatsoever. If you're gonna put this kind of person into the calling, you're gonna be the same person there. In comparison to someone who is well trained, who is just spent times and is hungry for life, it's this person is able to overcome its own mistakes or overcome its flaws, and it tries to change. It's creative. No matter what this person touches, everything is blooming, and it's brilliant, it's awesome. then what's going to happen when God will put you in your calling and redirect all this energy towards one simple goal? You're going to flourish. You're going to help people be saved. You're going to help people have hope, and everything is going to look completely different in comparison to the first person. And even much more down-to-earth example is if you are just not trustworthy, if you're just completely not able to control your emotions, as we said in previous videos, if I'm gonna ask some of the people that you work with how this whole experience working with you looks like, they will say, if you're gonna say something going against that person, you're gonna have like 3 hours of argument, or he's gonna be grumpy for the rest of the day. He's not gonna talk to you. Do you really think that this kind of personality is ready to be even treated as adult? Not even putting you in your calling. You see, the same thing goes to your ability to communicate. If you're a person who is completely not ready to any degree to have any conversation with anyone, as I said about the arguments in your workplace or something, it's going to have the same impact on your family, on your wife, on your kids, on people in your church, in your community. How do you think what's gonna be your score when you're gonna be treated as an adult and put in any kind of, I don't know, situation or any calling or any role in the kingdom? You're gonna bring the same immaturity there. So that's why one of the first things that you might expect to be mentored and taught is your ability to be like a decent human, high quality, with ability to achieve goals and ability to communicate. Second thing that you will definitely gonna be tested, and what you will work on, or you're gonna be pushed to work on, is how your relationship with God is connected to every aspect of your life. Because you see, I met at least few people in the last few months who told me they used even the same words. They told me very scary thing to hear as a Christian. They told me, listen, when I go to the church, I spend the time there, Sunday, I got a great time. We sing songs, hallelujah, and so on. Then we listen to the sermon, it's cool. But then when I go home, for the next 6 days, I basically go with my life, which has nothing to do, no connection whatsoever to what is taught in a church. And I listened to that, I said, it makes completely no sense. Because if you don't see connection, or that it exactly supposed to fit your life and your spirituality, you're completely missing the point. Because if you're saying that your God has answers to everything, He is the creator of everything, so He is the one who's supposed to change your life, and that should be like an example of your relationship with Him, then if you say something like this, it means you have no relationship with Him, or you don't know what you're talking about. And you see, one of the reasons that I was really forced, I've got to use that word, forced in the last few months to understand, which was brilliant because it explained a lot, is understanding that we might, as a Christian church, missing the whole idea, and we don't understand the basis why this thing is not work. One of those reasons might be that we just don't teach people what they need to hear. That's why they see this discrepancy in between what's going on in their lives and in the church, but that's a different story, although important on its own. But what I was forced to understand is that there's a huge difference in between acting like a child and acting like an adult. Because that's the difference. If you act like a child, you do exactly what child does. Meaning that when child is hungry, it goes to the table, there's a mom or father who prepare foods for them, and they feed them, and then child's going back to play or do whatever they do. And so many Christians do exactly that. They basically get up on Sunday, go to the church, which is the table. There's a person who's preparing a meal, which is the worship team and the pastor or the preacher, and they basically put the food in front of them, or sometimes even just shove it in their face, and then we say hallelujah, see you next Sunday, and we walk out. And then for the next 6 days you starve yourself. And if that's how you deal with that's how your Christianity looks like, you're a complete toddler. You're far, far away from being an adult Christian. Why? Because you're eating once a day, and you have to be fed up. And probably your diapers will be changed as well. That's why so many Christians are coming to church, and that's the time when they talk to God and they say, this is what I did, I feel bad, or this or that. You know what I'm saying? So you've been cleaned up, fed, and then you're going home for the next 6 days to starve and do bad things into your diaper, and then you have to be fed again. So basically you're useless to some degree, useless toddler. You're a child which needs to be taken care of. The difference in being an adult is when you're an adult, you have your relationship with God built already in the childhood. That's why I was talking about it, few videos ago, because that's the time for you to learn how to do this. Because now in adult years, there's not time to learn how to talk to God. This is now time for action. So adult person, they go home, and what they do, that's where they feed. That's where they eat. That's where they do all those things that they need to. That's where the life goes. And the life is there. So you pray, you read, you spend time with God, you intercede, you glorify Him, you go through the videos and audiobooks and read books and try to. That's when the life happens. And the result is when you get up in the morning, Sunday morning, you're well fed, you're well prepared, you're well trained, you're shining of God's glory, your whole armor is on, and you go to church to serve, not to eat. That's the difference. You go there and you're able to feed others, train others, help others to be mature. It's completely two different worlds. And that's why so many of us think that we are adult Christians, because we know a lot about theology, we know a lot about doctrine, we know a lot about our, to some degree, liturgy, basically how we do things in our church. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with your relationship with God. That's why the second thing that's going to be tested is how does thing even work in your case. Because if you're just a theoretical Christian, you're just playing the Christian philosophy, or playing the game of morality, or you just do what other Christians do, but it has nothing to do with relationship. Don't be deceived. And tomorrow I'm going to talk more about it, because I'm going to go really deep with what this really Christianity means, because that's just the things that you can see, but there's so much more to that. So not only going to be tested, and your bar will be risen in who you are as a person and your ability to communicate, but also your relationship with Him will be tested. If it's not there, you're a child. Go back, rethink this whole thing, and try to get here. But if you're here, you've got your relationship built, now your bar will be risen even in that, because now the thing's gonna go much more severe than in previous periods. That's point number 3. Then now, if you are at least ready to start journey of being an adult, the rules of the game will change. Because if you want to be treated as an adult, there are going to be different rules here. Because as we said yesterday, you're going to be given choices, you're going to be given tasks, and you will have to make decisions. You'll have to pay the consequences, and you'll be treated as an adult. So if you're an adult, if you're If you're an adult person with me, as you know, in a like, normal relationship, I'm going to treat you completely differently than I'm treating a child. Because when I give you something to do, especially in a business or something, I'm going to require for you to deliver. So the rewards will be much higher. The I think the whole game will have a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Adulthood has nothing to do with being a child. It's a result, but that's going to be a different ball game. That's why the results, the rewards will be higher, but the consequences will be much dire as well. So listen, in general, this is what I want you to take from this video. I want you to ask yourself, in those three areas, are you even capable of saying something like that about yourself, that you're mature and you're ready to be treated as an adult? Do you see yourself as a person who is trustworthy, smart, high value, hungry for life, creative, achieving your goals? Are you someone who is ready as a human being, as yourself, in your communication skills, to be treated as someone who is mature enough to have this kind of conversation? Second, ask yourself if your relationship with God is on this high standard level, that you even know how to communicate. You do get your answers. You're talking. You see that God is working on you, and He brings you to this higher level of achievement or state of your mind and spirituality and spirit in you. Or you just thinking that you are. It's just a philosophy. It's just a theory. Because then if you be given a task, you would not know what to do with it. And point number 3, just ask yourself a question. Do you really think that if God would stand next to you, which He is, and He'll ask you, are you ready? Are you adult enough in a physical body and in a spirit for me to play this game with you as an adult? What would you say? So think about it and do something about it. Because one thing that definitely is going to change from being a child to being an adult is how God will test and use your ability to be an adult as a human and as his child. Are you ready to play this game? If you like this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think, what is your experience. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout and I'll be glad to do it for you. And that being said, see you in the next video.